Welcome in everybody to another edition of the Joe Quills Show. Joe Quills here with you. We're got a different setup tonight because it is Monday Night Football, Eagles and Falcons, and I need to turn off that light there. There we go. I do apologize for that. It was annoying me more than it probably would annoy you. But anyways, we're here. It's Monday night. Gonna have some fun here, and we also got some Monday Night Football here. We have the Eagles and the Falcons. The Eagles are driving. They're down at the 4 yard line, but there was a penalty there for illegal man downfield. Second time they did it tonight. Um, so first and goal. And also, you had the rare delay a game penalty on Jalen Hurts for spiking the ball. They don't call that much anymore. But, you can see the Falcons defense has come to play. And once again, we have um, Nick Sirianni driving me wild with his analytics because, I mean, yeah, it's the regular season. You can kind of get away with it, but you do have um, you do have all the um, you know, it's a regular season. You can kind of do that stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. But when the playoffs come around, you definitely take the points there. You got an almost automatic kicker, Jake Elliott. There's a touchdown to Devontae Smith. And yes, I'm wearing my Big Dick Nick jersey tonight because they honored Big Dick Nick before the game tonight as he officially announced his retirement tonight. Now, I would have preferred it being the Jacksonville game since Doug Peterson would be in town, but hey, you know, maybe he just couldn't get to there. So Eagles take the lead there on the touchdown, 6-3 with the extra point coming up. And that's the type of drive that the Eagles need to have tonight. And, the one thing I've said over the last few years, um, one thing I've told you guys over the last couple of years, no matter how good or how bad your offense is, or good how bad your defense is, your best defense is a ball control offense, and that is exactly what it was there. So 7-3 Eagles. And I'll be watching the game here. I got the Phillies game on my iPad going right here. They're down 3-1 in the bottom of the fifth. So a lot going on tonight. Phillies are almost home with winning the division. Their magic number right now is 5. And maybe we'll get an update on those scores as well. So, got a new segment here tonight. And it is called Fuck My Life. And as you guys know, I am the gambling degenerate or the horse racing degenerate for Bleacher Brothers. And I had $20 in credits on FanDuel because if you remember from my show, also eligible, that is the preferred sports, the race book, preferred race book right now. We do have a sign up deal with FanDuel. Bet five, you get $200 right now, and you can also get 3 weeks of NFL Sunday ticket as well for free. But the other thing is, when we did also eligible, we try to keep you up to date with those money back specials or no sweat bets, whatever lingo they use. It's all basically the same thing. So, hopefully, if there's a representative from FanDuel that's going to watch us after the fact, hopefully they understand what I'm trying to say. But anyways, why am I thinking that today is National Fuck My Life Day? Well, it all started earlier today. So, uh, so I didn't go to bed till like 3:30, 4 o'clock. my friend SJ was playing blackjack, and I was like, all right, I'll watch. I don't want to play, but she wants to play, and we're talking back and forth and stuff like that. We're talking some shop and other things, and um, then we had a um, so I finally went to bed. I was like, all right, bed hasn't been cleaned off. I don't care. I'm just sleeping on the couch anyway. So I just made sure the fan was just set up just right and everything. So all right, we'll get to the I'll just sleep in. Still have to write my article. That's cool. So first of all, I had to go with one of my secondary sources because Daily Racing Form did not show their race of the day until after 12 o'clock when I posted the article for Louisiana Downs, which leads further into the Fuck My Life segment of the show. So from there, I'm doing some things around the apartment. I doze off listening to an old Presidency podcast I'm catching up on. I'm a little tired, so I was like, all right, pulled the seat back, just like that, put my feet up. So I fell asleep for a little bit, but, you know, part of it was because about 10:15, I wasn't completely dressed. I did have underwear on, maintenance. I'm like, oh, what the fuck do they want? So I'm tired to begin with. I'm just doing my usual morning routine where I'm just catching up on the world. SJ sends me a message on Snapchat. By the way, Mr. Quills at Snapchat. By the way, um, so from there, I'm just sitting there and maintenance. I'm like, why are you going for maintenance? Maybe downstairs is complaining that maybe something's leaking. So I'm sitting. So I said, wait a second, one moment, because I had to put shorts on because I was just in my underwear, and I know that's an ugly thought, but stuff happens. So, um, so I opened the door. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" Guy has come in here a couple different times for different things. So, um, oh, you have a leaking toilet? I'm like, no, I didn't call. They might have mistranscribed what the person was saying because I imagine there's a couple of different apartment unit numbers in the different buildings that is part of my complex because there's 8 different buildings. So I don't think the building across the street has a unit number. That's my unit. Um, I think across the parking lot, I think there is. There's a couple more buildings up on Bustleton Avenue. There's a couple of buildings a couple of blocks over this way. You have all that going on. So I'm like, all right, I'm up. So I wrote my race information. Horse didn't win, so be it. So then I dozed off because I was trying to wake up. I didn't wake up. Coffee had zero effect on me this morning, so I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to doze off a little bit. So when I did finally wake up, I was like, you know what? Let me get lunch. And this is about 3:30. And since I'm on vacation this week, but actually that 3 o'clock window, 3 to 4, is usually when I eat lunch anyway, because I work from 11 to 11:30 to 7:30 most days. So so there's a new Raising Cane's over at Roosevelt Mall. I'm like, cool. I'll go there. And so I go over there and I have my lunch. Um, and as I'm sitting there, I had pulled up Louisiana Downs because that was the race, and it was just the one race. Like, what, let me dabble because I do have some luck with Louisiana Downs. So I'm looking on the FanDuel app. I'm looking on the TVG app. There's no Louisiana Downs there. So I'm like, what the fuck? Because I wanted to use the $20 I had from the from Woodbine on Saturday from all my horses finishing second. I wanted to use that for today. So I had to put money into my Twin Spires. So so I only put $50 in because I'm like, all right, I don't need that much money in there. So, just quick 50, if it loses, it loses. If it wins, it wins. So first race, wasn't even close with the race. So I was like, you know what? The pick six, the pick five, the pick four, not playing it. So I'm sitting there. And even when I don't have um, the money to play the pick fours, the pick fives, the pick sixes, I still like to see how I would do versus everybody that did wager on there. It's like seeing how sharp I am, that sort of thing. So I'm sitting there, and second race, um, one of the horses I had wins on there. Wasn't the pick I had, but I didn't play it. Third race, I think that was the race. No, the the one horse won. I had the six, but I had the one in the six. I would have had one in six. From there, I had the nine, which won. And I said, of course, because I wanted to play the pick four. So I'm like, you know what? I got a little bit of extra money here. Let me play the pick three. So first leg, I had the six and the nine. I played the nine to win. The six won the race, but I advanced in the pick three. I have four horses in the second leg, race six. I had the four to win, finishes third, I think it is. I think it was the 7-1. So I'm still alive. Another 6-1 shot. So from there, I have the one and the two. So I'm already cringing. Because when I look at the will pays, because I couldn't care about I looked at the pick three. I was like, oh, well, the one's going to pay $65 for 50 cents. The other horse is going to pay 700. I'm like, So I looked at the pick four. The long shot's going to pay like $12,000 for 50 cents. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And my horse would have paid like 500. So then I looked at the pick five. The two would have paid $25,000 for a dollar, which means 12,000, which means you put my money in there, probably about 7 or 8, because I guarantee you somebody would have potted that if they won. So instead, I hit the pick three. I look afterwards because the favorite won, the one horse. So I could have had the pick four, the pick five, and the pick six. The pick four paid about $500. The pick five paid about $1,500. No one had 6 of 6 in the jackpot pick six, which would have meant I would have potted. I would have hit that jackpot wager and won about $6,000-7,000. So yeah, fuck my life. It's not like I don't need the $7,000 because yeah, I do, and especially considering it's my birthday week. Exactly. So that's my life in a nutshell. So, uh, and I see Hold on. Yeah, somebody. My sleeper app is going nuts right now because SJ's talking on there. Game on a few leagues. Story I just told about today. FML. So F my life, fuck my life, everything went to shit. So, but I am playing a Cinnabon Downs tonight as well while we're with you here. So, um, because they wanted to give me the fourth race as the race of the day, and it's a 6 horse race with a 1-5 favorite. I said, fuck that. So, it was just, I mean, it's just one of those days where things go wrong. You know, you just say fuck my life. So, but it was a really uh, real tough day for me in terms of bad luck. But anyways, Falcons are driving here. They're in the red zone here. Bijan Robinson down to the 17. There's a minute 17 left in a half. The Falcons are doing what the Eagles did, and according to Joe Buck here, because I had the volume up a little bit. Eagles have not blitzed in the half, so they're trying to get there with the 3 or 4 guys on the front there. But anyways, Phillies are down 3-1. So um, and I'm getting laughed at because I admitted that I took Hollywood Brown in a couple of weeks, and he's out for the season, the regular season at least. Um, but it is what it is. So, anyways, got a lot to talk about here. One story that I did not print up that was worth mentioning was that Debo Samuel is going to be out a couple of weeks. He's got an injury. It is an injury to his calf, and Niners are getting hit hard with the injury bug as well. Um, Christian McCaffrey's out for another 3 games with an ankle issue, um, ankle and calf, and Achilles potentially. Debo Samuel tweaked his calf. He's going to be out a couple of weeks, and so you're going to see a bunch of a lot of injuries, a lot of injuries that are happening here. And there's a flag on the Eagles. Oh, fuck. Anyways, so he's going to be out a couple of weeks. Um, McCaffrey is out for at least 3 more weeks. So everybody's getting injured this time of the year, and it's just week 2. So imagine what it's going to be like. Niners, we'll see what they can do here. They do have. Oops, I did not want to do that here. I just want to scan it here. Um, so it's Achilles tendonitis for Christian McCaffrey. Um, I'm trying to see who their next man up is. Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings, Jacob Cowling, Chris Conley, and Ronnie Bell is active roster. Phil Boyd left by Samuel. They're mostly they're the group of wideouts. But The Eagles did stop Bijan there. So it looks like they're going to force them into a field goal here with 17 seconds left in the half. So Debo's going to miss a couple of weeks. CMC is going to miss at least 3. And as you can see here, there's a lot of injuries that have happened this week. So we'll get to that in a second here, and we'll just wait to see what happens on this play here. All right, it's a second and goal at the 17-yard line. Now, if you get a stop here and they don't score here and they don't get out of bounds, half is over for Atlanta because they're all the way down at the 4-yard line here. So let's see what they do here. Can't reach Mooney there. But the key is if you can stop them, if you can get them to if you can stop them short of the goal line, the half is over because there's no way you can get a field goal out there in about 5 seconds. So some of the things that popped up today that were interesting in terms of the National Football League is we wait for this third down play. Bryce Young has been benched. The Carolina Panthers quarterback, number 1 draft pick, he got benched today. Dave Canales declared less than 24 hours after he declared that the top pick of the 2023 draft will remain his starter for Sunday's game against the Raiders. But he's getting benched in favor of Andy Dalton, the redheaded stepchild of quarterbacks. Third down here. And throws it into the seats. So they're going to kick a field goal. And let's start singing, Young Ho, get out of my mind. All right, it's Young Way, I know. But, it's Young Ho, H-O-E. Kind of like that Asian comedian. Oh, God. You complete me, Ho. That's her last name. Okay, so the field goal is good, and it's 7-6. Should be 10-6 because the analytics is driving me up a wall. Oh, 4th and 4 at the 9. Oh, let's go for it now. Get the points. Get the fucking points. And I apologize for cursing, but anyways, Bryce Young was benched in favor of Andy Dalton. Young becomes the first quarterback selected number 1 in the common draft era, which is since 1967, to be benched for non-injury reasons in his second season. That is crazy. Canales said he made the change after reviewing film of Sunday's 26-3 loss to the Chargers, in which Young posted a career-low 6.4 QBR. I don't know how they figure out QBR, but I think that's an ESPN thing. And I got this article from ESPN, by the way. Now, of course, because David Tepper, the owner, he's got to have his hands on everything. He didn't specify whether David Tepper had a say in the decision, but noted that General Manager Dan Morgan and Executive Vice President Brant Tillis were part of the decision. Canal said ultimately it was his decision. Canales is a quarterback whisperer. He's turned around the careers of Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield. But he said, my number 1 responsibility is to help the Panthers win, and so this moves us in the best chance to do that. But, some of these numbers are mind-bogglingly bad. That's try to say that real fast. Um, he's gone 2-16 as a starter since Carolina traded up 8 spots with the Bears to draft him number one last year. So you traded to get him. You gave up the number one pick. And, I mean, it's just crazy that they, you know, I mean, they could have had C.J. Stroud look good. C.J. Stroud to me wasn't that impressive last night, but he got the win, and that's sometimes when you have those off games, you still lead them to a win. That's what you want to do. And there's a triple in Milwaukee. The Brewers are up 4-1 in the sixth now, and they're going to kick off here with 6 seconds left. And I imagine the Eagles are just going to take a knee here and end the first half here. Um, Canales said, "My number one responsibility is to help the Panthers win, and so this move puts us in the best chance to do that." And maybe you know the one thing is you wonder if maybe a couple of weeks off will help him, but you may totally lose him as well. So you got to be careful with a young player like that, and he's got 2 more years to prove himself. Because if he doesn't prove himself, I mean, he may even be going ahead of time, well before that, because you've seen what they do with quarterbacks anymore. Um, so I did have a winner in the third race of Cinnabon. Go me. Um, so, but 2-16 is amazing. Um, Andy Dalton will be taking over. He's 34 years old. Um, base hit in Milwaukee, it's 5-1. Um, Dalton said with a big smile, "When I came here, I wasn't sure if I was getting another opportunity to start again." Excuse me. The Panthers' offensive line is offensive. You got that right. The whole team is offensive. I mean, the defense is offensive. I'm not sure if Mike was here to hear my fuck my life story, but I'll just tell him that in a couple of minutes. I gave him a hint, but we'll dive deeper into that. I'll dive back into that in a minute. So, and Andy Dalton is probably the one of the better guys that you can have taking over, because he could probably also say, "Hey, I've been benched too. Keep your head up. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the other thing." Because he said it's a tough. Dalton said, "I'm really looking forward to this. I'm excited about what's ahead. It's a tough decision. I've been on both sides of it. It's hard on everybody, but for me, I mean, I'm looking forward to it." Um, uh, you knew my birthday is this week. So Dalton wasn't expecting the news about the decision. Um, Now, Canales wouldn't say if the decision to bench Young is long term or short term, but truthfully, you know, even if it is short term, I mean, a long term situation can quickly be a short term situation with the way that all these quarterbacks get hurt. Well, actually, everybody's been getting hurt so far this week, and I got a list of articles here of people that are hurt. Um, Now, Dalton's last game came in the third game of the season. Frank Reich sat Young, who had an ankle injury, for one game after an 0-2 start. Dalton completed 34 58 pass attempts for 360 yards and 2 touchdowns, and a 37-27 loss to Seattle. Um, But the plan wasn't to go the 58 passes, but when you're behind the game, you kind of scrap the game plan, if I remember correctly. So it was um, but the thing is, whether it's short term or long term, we'll see. But you're starting to see that this is um, that Bryce Young isn't living up to his number one hype. Um, but I mean, this is what they invested in Young. Two first round picks, 23 and 24, a 2018 first round pick, 2018 first round pick DJ Moore, and a 2025 second round pick to the Bears to move up from ninth to first in last year's draft. And then on top of that, your team is so bad, when you could have used a number one pick this year, you don't get it. So um, now Dalton is 83, 78, and 2 as a starter. Um, he was coming off the bench with the Cowboys, Bears, and Saints over the last couple of years. Um, but it just seems like Dave Canales does have a situation here on his hands where the quarterback that he's inherited is not doing the job, and he's got to get him back on track, or out he goes. But so we were watching Thursday Night Football, and we were watching we were kind of watching. I should say I was kind of watching the Miami Buffalo game because I was at my main position, and the TV is over in the corner, not within view. Whereas tonight I have it in view because I'm using my other TV and using the antenna here, so I'm a little ahead of everybody tonight. Yes, but we saw that injury from Tua Tagovailoa, and I missed it at first, but um, of course, because this is his third injury, his third concussion in the NFL. He had one at Alabama. Calls it for him to retire. And forgive me for the ambient noises. The noises are coming in from outside. I got all the windows open. But when you have somebody convulsing on the field briefly, it's not a good sign that somebody is. It's not a good sign, and because we're so conscious about concussions and CTE and all that, you just have to say, you know what, um, and Mike says it could have been avoided. Yeah, I mean, now maybe Mike can help me with this. Was it Michael Vick that didn't know how to slide legs first with a baseball slide? Was it him? Because I think it was Michael Vick that had a hard time. Yeah, Mike thinks so as well. And if anybody else, if you're familiar with Michael Vick, and if he had a hard time sliding feet first, let me know. But they changed the sliding rules anyway because as soon as you hit the ground, that's it. It doesn't matter which direction you slide. But um, but he got the yards that were needed for the touchdown, and he needed a couple extra. He went a couple extra yards, and um, he went headfirst into Damar Hamlin. You know, imagine what would have happened. Damar Hamlin went down injured again, but and then Al Michaels came up with a statement that I wish I remember what he said word for word, but it was it was you got to the point where you're just like, Al Michaels doesn't give a fuck anymore, because the way that he said it, You wonder why NBC basically told Al Michaels, "You're not doing this playoff game for us because you want to bash Taylor Swift last year towards the end of the season. You're not. Your Emerita status is a little uh, a little bit whatever." But but let me do one thing here before I continue. Um, Now, the one good thing about Assiniboia, because they're in Canada, take off, eh? Um, you can play their pick fives for a 20-cent increment. And since I screwed myself out of several $1,000s today, I can't even read my own handwriting. So this is a $19.20 ticket I'm playing. So there we go. Okay. So, when you see somebody convulsing on the field, and I don't know who it was with the Carolina Panthers, he got hit hard and had a concussion, linebacker. He was uncontrollably crying on the field, and it was explained that sometimes if you get hit just the right way, right way as in hitting a certain way, that it could do stuff like that. So, head trauma can do all kinds of crazy things to you, let alone the CTE thing. But, um, but when you see somebody convulsing on the field like that, more in the Cincinnati game, that he got his allegedly first one in the NFL, which I think was his second, because if you remember, he got hurt on Sunday. They had a Thursday game. They let him play for some unknown reason, and he got hurt again. So, um, and the new Guardian caps, I don't know if that would have helped him, because the way that his neck bent um, when he hit Damar Hamlin, I think that he would have gotten a concussion anyway because of the way that his neck was when he hit into Damar Hamlin. So it wasn't like I mean, because truthfully, at least I don't think, and I never played football with a helmet and pads and all that. I would imagine there's always a chance of a concussion, no matter if you have the Guardian cap on or not, or anything like that. But maybe it would have prevented a more serious injury where, yeah, his hands all crinkled and all that. So I'm just wondering, maybe, you know, but according to the Dolphins, Tua will not be placed on the injury reserve as of right now. At least not until more information becomes available. And I think they're going to take it as slow as possible, because they did just invest a ton of money on him. 4 years, I think it was like 130, 140 million, may even be more than that. I'm just spitballing numbers at you. Um, Now remains in the NFL's return to participation protocol. I guess they're not allowed to call it the concussion protocol anymore. After he suffered a concussion Thursday's loss, Mike McDaniel said it's too early in the process to say whether Tua will be placed on injury reserve, but that he and general manager Chris Greer will make that decision once further evaluations have been completed. Now, the one thing is, if you think about it, you do have 10 days to make this decision. So you can probably make this decision. I don't know, like 11:30 on Sunday. I mean, whenever they play on Sunday or Monday, you can do it. You know, minutes before the start of the game, because as long as he doesn't play, you know, as long as the game doesn't start, that would be the first 4 games. So, in terms of the IR and everything else, that's a blessing in disguise for them. But I would definitely think he would go on the IR. You know, you know, hopefully they will do what is best for him and say, you know what, no. But he's got to make the choice, and also you got to think that you have to protect him from himself as well. So, but um, now the Dolphins did confirm that they're signing Tyler Huntley from the Baltimore Ravens practice squad. Um, now, while the team is publicly insisting there's no timeline for Tua's return, NFL rules essentially require players signed from another team's practice squad to remain on their new team's 53-man active roster for at least 3 weeks. So, so he's going to be in the Dolphin colors for at least 3 weeks. He might get replaced. He might get released and then go back into the practice squad somewhere. I hope they has good people around them for support. Yeah, me too. That's in regards to Tua, by the way, for those that are watching. Um, right now, McDaniel is saying he said on Friday he expects Tua to miss this week's game, and that third-year veteran Skylar Thompson, who is total dog shit, he will start in his place. But that was a scary injury on Thursday night when we were on. Um, you know, they said it was a concussion. I was getting little bits and pieces, and I finally got to see what happened after the game. Not a good thing, but just for the humanity side of it, you hope he's okay. Because he does have a kid. I think it's about making sure that he will have a good life after football. Right now, you got to make sure of that. So, um, and the injury bug is all over the place here in the NFL. Let's begin in Kansas City. First of all, Hollywood Brown got put on the IR. He's going to be out for the rest of the regular season with a shoulder injury, which fucked me over because I picked him up in most of my leagues because I figured, 4 weeks. He comes back around week 5 or week 6. Everything will be fine. Well, he had surgery and they decided, you're going to be out for the year. So, womp womp. So, I think I got rid of him in all the leagues I was in because I figured it'd be a high reward situation. Well, that didn't happen. So, but the Falcons are going right down the field on the Eagles' defense right now. They're down inside the 20-yard line. But then yesterday, Isaiah Pacheco is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks after suffering a fibula injury during Sunday's game against the Bengals. Pacheco will be on injured reserve, so that's another fuck my life moment. Yeah, and this is about Tua. It's a tough call, however, it is his call. I agree. Now, Pacheco underwent X-ray Sunday night, and he was supposed to have an MRI today to determine if it was a fracture or ligament damage. I haven't heard any result of this, um, I'm forgive me. I'm also watching a game here for you guys as well. Um, so the Chiefs are bringing Kareem Hunt back. He's a free agent right now. They're bringing him in on Tuesday for a visit. And the Phillies fly out there. They got to run, but they're still down 5-2 at the stretch. Um, right now, um, the Chiefs have undrafted rookie Carson Steele and veteran Samaji Perine at running back. And the Eagles get a sack there. And seems like this Eagles defense is going to be bend, don't break all year. But now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he was the first round pick in 2020. He's on the non-football injury list, so he can't show up until week 5. So you got injury issues in Kansas City, um, and everybody is. God, now I gotta check who this guy is. Hold on a second. Ken Jung, that's who I'm thinking is. Yeah, they're quoting Ken Jung right now in Atlanta. You complete me, ho! That's my wife's name. Well, but it's Young Wei, but since it's since it's spelled Young Ho Hoe, you know, he's a hoe. What can we do? But you know, Falcons are up 9-7 right now in the third quarter. Um, Joe Mixon, or did I miss a story here? No, I did. Okay. Joe Mixon is injured. He was injured on what D'Amico Ryans and Joe Mixon are both calling an illegal hip drop tackle. So he reviewed the video. He reviewed film of the play, and he believes running back Joe Mixon's ankle injury was caused by T.J. Edwards using a now banned hip drop tackle. Edwards was not penalized, which occurred early in the third quarter. Mixon only played 7 snaps the rest of the way. Um, Originally said Ryans said that he wasn't sure if Mixon was brought down using the swivel hip drop tackle. And rightfully so, because you want to, right after the game, you got to collect your thoughts and all that, and you got to do what's best, so you don't get yourself into trouble. Um, but today he was certain Edwards applied the rugby tackling technique in the NFL in March, elected to ban. So um, now there's no timetable for Mixon's return, according to this article. I imagine if it's a high ankle sprain, it'll be at least a couple of weeks. But they do have uh, an injury riddled backfield as well. Um, Texans could be out Damian Price as well, who is his backup, with a hamstring injury. Um, if they're without both, expect Cam Akers, who rushed for 32 yards with a fumble in week 2, to get most of the carries. Now, keep an eye out if Joe Mixon gets fined by the NFL. He said on Twitter, X, whatever, the NFL and the NFLPA made it a rule and an emphasis for a reason. Time to put your money where your mouth is. So he may be getting a letter from the NFL office. And Jason Kelsey is in the booth with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. You know, and he's got his green suit on. So so, and I also thought I saw that he was going to be on the Manning cast tonight too. So, and I was watching somebody's stream before I started the show tonight, and they said that Bill Belichick was in a suit. I said, yeah, he's in a suit because you know his girlfriend likes wrinkled old men wearing nice suits. She doesn't want to see his wrinkled balls and wrinkled this and wrinkled that. She just wants to see him in a suit. So apparently he was on a suit when everybody is dressed down on the show. He's dressing up, but that's a Belichick way, I guess, because he was always dressing down when everybody was looking like an NFL head coach. But the Eagles had the ball. They get a first down there. Um, they got a first down. I wish they would stop zooming in on the huddle here. And then they continue showing Jurgens, the center, and then Jalen Hurts. All right, first and 10 to 43. Okay, so that's where we are right now. So let's see what happens on this play here. And Hurts gets sacked. So, anyways, now another guy who could be missing an extended period of time is Cooper Kupp. And he's going to miss an extended period of time with a left ankle sprain. Now, he is a candidate for injured reserve, according to McVay, which is a decision the head coach said the team expects to make either today or tomorrow. And I haven't looked to see if there was a change from when I printed this out a couple hours ago. Jonah Jackson and guard Jonah Jackson and safety John Johnson III are both candidates. First down by Devontae on that pass. And McVay said, this is how beat up the Rams are, and this may be a week that you fade the Rams. We're kind of running out of those injured reserve spots, and we're only into week 3 in terms of the return to play. But it's a possibility for all those guys. So, but you have a bunch of injuries right now in LA. So nice play there by Barkley, a spin move to get the first down to Falcons 36 as the Eagles are driving back the other way. But the Rams are also without Puka Nacua, who's on injury reserve after spraining his posterior cruciate ligament in week 1. After Kupp and Nacua, they have Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Johnson, Tutu Atwell, and rookie 6th-round pick Jordan Whittington. First and 10 at the 36. Barkley gets about 3 there. So, now, Kupp led the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns in 2021. He has not played a full season since then. He missed the first 4 games of the season last year with the hamstring injury. And McVay said, I don't think anybody really understands the amount of things that Kupp was going through last year, but you do have a whole bunch of injuries as well in LA. So you may want to, if you have Cooper Kupp or you have any of these other players, you may want to keep an eye on the waiver wire on your fantasy football teams, and take advantage of those injured reserve spots that your leagues may have. Joshua Carty, the kicker, he's dealing with the groin injury, but he's expected to play Sunday against the Niners. Mike says, do you think the lack of preseason is the culprit for these injuries? It's possible. I think also with the fact that you do have all these injuries. I think it would happen either way, but I think a lot of times even though there's nothing as good as actually, um, you know, even though there's nothing like actual gameplay, they do have these joint practices over the last couple of years, which is basically the equivalent of a game. Even though they're not keeping score, they're organized practices that are like games. But um, maybe it is because of everything. I don't know. Um, I would say yes. And they don't have two a days anymore either. They only have one practice during spring during training camp as well. So we got a 3rd and 3 from the 6 here, and Devontae drops it. Now Nick Sirianni, kick the fucking field goal. You're too far for a tush push. There we go. He's kicking the field goal now. Thank God. And then they try, then they get Calcaterra under center trying to draw them offside. So, but this is a chip shot anyway for, um, and the ESPN is calling the tush push the brotherly love thing. They are now calling it the tush sneak. So there we go. There's the field goal. Eagles lead 10-9. So at least they did the right thing there. So with all the injuries that are going on in the NFL right now, keep an eye, especially if you're a fantasy football player. Um, it's just. Uh, did you say Tushy? I probably did. Um, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. I say a lot of things. It's like, you'll tell me, "Did you say that?" I probably did, but it is what it is. Um, okay, so I'm still alive in the pick 5 at Assiniboia Downs. My horse finished second to the heavy favorite winner, but the weird thing is, Daily Racing Form must have an agreement with. Um, they must have an agreement with. Forgive me for a second. I'm trying to work on something here. They're verifying my location. Jesus Christ. Forgive me. I'm also playing horses while I'm doing this tonight. Um, yeah, I have to log back in. Damn it! I don't want to deposit. Damn it. Yeah, I actually watched that WrestleMania last in April. That was funny as hell. But yeah, but who knows? Maybe Jason Kelsey gets into professional wrestling. So it looks like the Pac-12 is trying to end up poaching from the Mountain West. So far, you have Boise State, Fresno State, Colorado State, and San Diego State all uh, set to join in 2026 when the Pac-12 relaunches. Whether they call it the six pack, the eight pack, the pack it in, who knows? But but they are bringing the Pac-12 back in some form. It won't be as glorious as the USC's, UCLA's, and Washington, Oregon, but you got to start somewhere, right? Now, one team that came to mind originally was Hawaii because you could get them for all sports and they could upgrade their basketball and other programs and stuff like that. But they play in a football stadium. They only seats 10,000 because Aloha Stadium um, was permanently closed because of problems with the stadium. But um, another one that came to mind was UNLV because the conference tournament already plays like basketball and football. No, no, they don't play football there. The basketball tournament already plays at Las Vegas. So why not grab UNLV? You know, they got the money, but then they're going to be poaching more from the Mountain West, and they're going to have to pay more money as part of the agreement that Oregon State and Washington State get to play six teams each from the Mountain West. But so um, so Oregon State and Washington State need at least two more teams or schools in the conference to make it at least an 8-team conference. Because if you get eight, you get automatic inclusion into the NCAA championships and the college football playoffs. So not just the NCAA basketball tournament, anything that is NCAA sponsored, you need eight schools. Um, so but you get San Diego State, so you're kind of just right below the LA market. You might draw some LA people back, but they're probably um, gone to the AC to the Big Ten now. But um, but the Arizona State athletic director Scott Barnes was asked about is there interest in realignment and going to the Pac-12. He says bunches. Whether that's true or not, we'll see. But um, but you could have some movement in there. Um, but they may not want to poach anymore from uh, they may not want to poach from the Mountain West anymore because they're paying 35 million, I think it is 30 some million, 20 to 30 million for pulling teams from the Mountain West. Mountain West could reap $110 million from what they have right now. So um, but that agreement to play six teams in the Mountain West is for this season only. Um, but they do have that poaching rule in play. Um, but it'd be interesting to see because I don't know who would go to the Pac-12 right now. Because also you got to realize, and there's a first down on a 4th and 4 by Atlanta. But you're looking at the conference being reborn. It's kind of like Oregon State or Washington State are basically like, I'm not going to change. I mean, they're basically the equivalent of people still having landline phones or still having a picture tube TV or anything like that, and they had the converter box and stuff like that. But wow. And touchdown for Darnell Mooney. And it's 15-10 Atlanta right now. So now, now I'm interested in this one move here that I see here. And they're going to be on their own island for the most part, but there are teams in the central time zone where it won't be that far away from them. But I am intrigued by this as Atlanta goes for two here, up 15-10. Broken up. So if the Eagles score a touchdown here, they'll be going for two. So 15-10 right now. Um, it's possible that the Air Force may be a serious target, or they have emerged as a serious target to be added to the American Athletic Conference, or the AAC. They've emerged in conversations of potential AAC ad in recent months prior to the Pac 12 taking four Mountain West schools last week. Now, the one thing I said, and this is what will make it even more interesting, is you will have all three Division One military academies in the same conference. Now, the one thing I have said a couple of times, first of all, the Army Navy game should always be in Philly. End of story. But also on top of that, why doesn't Air Force play a neutral site game in Philly? Why don't they play Army here? Why don't they play Navy here? I just think that all matchups in the Commander in Chief trophy should be in Philadelphia, but that's just me. Um, The AAC released a statement on Monday night saying the league is a pioneering brand firmly grounded in grit and hard work with powerful and prestigious member institutions. In the past 5 months, we have prioritized seizing every opportunity that enhances value for our member institutions and student athletes. And Mike agrees with me, which, you know, apparently Mike agrees with almost everything I do, but, it is what it is. Now, right now, the AAC has 14 football schools, including Army and Navy. Um, Army and Navy, and Mike says almost. He almost always agrees with me. So that's good. Um, I just got to get you. I just got to prove to you guys that he doesn't always agree with me. Um, so the AAC has 14 teams. Army and Navy. They're there. They're in there for football only. Also, um, uh, also, you have Wichita State, which does not have a football program. They're in the AAC for most sports as well, including basketball. But um, but they said if Army and Navy somehow end up the top two teams in the conference, then because they play their game the week after all those other conferences have their conference championship game, that game would be the conference championship game. They won't play twice. So, um, but that is an interesting thing there. Air Force possibly being rumored to go into the AAC. Um, uh, and Mike has a side note here 15-10 Atlanta, Bizarro 2017. And as Hurts goes out of bounds after a 2-yard gain there. Yeah, and oh, by the way, Big Dick Nick is in the house tonight. He's officially retiring as an Eagle tonight, and that's why I'm wearing the jersey. So, um, so yeah, it's your typical Eagles Atlanta game here in Philadelphia. So, um, and that's I think that's three times now that Jurgens has had. I think it's all three times it was Jurgens that had the ineligible player downfield. So, and that kills a great play there by Britton Covey. And the one thing you can see here with Jalen Hurts is he's really not taking plays down the field because one of his main weapons is not in the game tonight. AJ Brown has a hamstring injury, possibly out a couple of weeks. As we hit the end of the third quarter, it's 15-10. Um, so, but you do see that Cam Jurgens is a little inexperienced at the center position with the with the three different penalties that he has there. Um, Cam is trying to get Raising Canes. Yeah, yeah, I got mine today, so that keeps me satisfied for the next few months. Um, the fifth race is about to go off at the Seneboya here, so let's check on a couple of different things here. Um, the Dodgers defeated the Braves, and the Mets defeated the Nationals. So the Mets will end up being second place, and they'll be the team that you would figure in terms of the magic number, which is currently at 5. The Brewers right now, their magic number, I believe, is 4. Um, they're up 8.5, 9.5 on the Cubs. Um, and I know this is great podcasting, by the way. So 163 minus 86 minus 73. Yeah, their magic number is 4. Um, the Cubs did win this evening. They won 9-2 over the Oakland, soon to be Sacramento Athletics. Um, Now that'll be interesting when next year's Out of the Park baseball comes up. How they're listed on there, but uh, but in in MLB right now, as we're getting ready to start the fourth here, Tigers are up 7-6 on the Royals. Tigers are trying to steal a playoff spot here. Um, Diamondbacks lead the Rockies 2-1 at the stretch at Coors Field. White Sox break them up. They're up 7-1 in the third on the Angels. They've won 2 in a row. They're going for 3 in a row. Padres are up 1-0 on the Astros. And earlier finals today, Guardians beat the Twins 4-3. I mentioned the Mets winning 2-1 and 10. Dodgers won 9-0. I mentioned the Cubs, and the Cardinals beat the Pirates 4-0. Britton Covey is coming up huge now. He had another great catch just there. So Eagles are approaching midfield there. Um, so I'm just looking. I'm just looking a couple of things up for you guys here. Um, yeah, the lead story here on the top headlines on the right of ESPN: Eagles Brown expects to be out a couple of weeks. Let me do one other thing here. Just trying to find something here because I do want to let you guys know about a special deal that we have going on, a special promotion that we have with 15 to 1 shot one at a Assiniboia. So my pick five is kind of dead. Um, Let me see here. I do apologize. This is some great streaming, by the way. There you go. A nice little tush push there. Just I'm just adding something here on the fly for you guys. Want to do that? Do not want to do that either. Um, all right, I'm going to go black for a couple of seconds here. Let you guys know. Um, Go to bleacherbrothers.com. We have a special with Rebet. It's a sports book that is available in most states. The only states that it's not available in right now is Idaho. There we go, the hoe again. Idaho and Nevada. And I will have the graphic for you guys tomorrow. But and Hertz goes right up the middle for a first down. Excuse me. But but Rebet, it's a fun little it's a fun app here where not only can you bet on the games, whether it's with money or with points, you can also go head to head with others. So like unlike some of the other sports books where you can't go head to head with another person, you're going against the book. You can go head to head. So let's say Mike was on there and he wanted Atlanta tonight. He could see that I bet the Eagles. I didn't bet on the Eagles, but pretend I was dabbling in the props tonight. So you can actually bet against each other, and Hertz gets another first down. You can actually bet each other on who will win a game, and it's also it has a social media aspect as well. If you go to the main page of Bleacher Brothers, there is an advertisement there. Um, it's uh, it's a 100%. Actually, you know what? I'm going to share. I gotta wait. I gotta do this here. Hold on a second. Sometimes you just gotta improvise here. And there's a flag at the end of the play there. Who's it on? All right, so here's the ad on the Bleachers Brothers pages. There's a penalty on Johnny Wilson there. There's the promotion. It's with Rebet. You click on that link, and also if you're watching this show, well, first of all, I got to add the scene here. So it's a 100% deposit match up to $100. I put $50 in. They gave me $50 for free. If you put $100 in, you get 100. If you put $20 in, they'll give you 20. And one thing I will always tell you guys is always bet within your means. Make sure it's disposable money. Make sure that you have all your bills paid up and everything like that. You know, I'm never going to tell you to do. I'm never going to tell you guys to um, actually play my wagers. You know, and I'm very transparent with you guys, and I will tell you, for example, it's rent week. I can't play these races because I need my money for this, and that, or for my rent and other bills. You know, but if I wasn't, these are my plays. So, you know, and if you have a gambling problem, dial 1-800 Gambler. But if you click on that link, you um, get a free wager up to $100. I mean, 100% deposit match up to $100, and it's a fun little social app as well. There's a social aspect to it as well. So all that and more. 18 and over. Also, if you have a gambling problem, 1-800 Gambler, and you know it's a fun little thing. And if you are watching this stream either live or on in your leisure, hit me up and let me know that you signed up for it, because I would get credit for a reference there. So, and Barkley backs into the end zone for a touchdown. The Eagles take the lead 16-15. And like Mike said, we're looking at a Eagles Falcons playoff game from the year that the Eagles went to the Super Bowl and won. Up, did he get in? So, but yeah, so check that out. You know, but the one thing I will say is even if it is just you know, well, we know what's coming next because that touchdown's coming back, or it is already taken down. Um, you know, the one thing I would tell you ahead of time, and this is just me because I know how Pennsylvania is, um, because apparently I couldn't bet on Louisiana Downs through FanDuel or TVG today. If you want to go ahead before signing up, there you go. So, do we run it again for the 2 point conversion? but, um, but even if it is, Mike agrees with me. They should go for two here. Um, the one thing I will say to you guys is, first of all, we encourage you to go bleacherbrothers.com because I am part of Bleacher Brothers. Um, and Mike, I do have some news for you when we meet up on Wednesday. Um, hopefully, I remember what that is because my brain is mush sometimes. Nope. There you go. They corrected. So 18-15. So the Saquon deal is paying off for the Eagles here. So 18-15 right now. So maybe in a couple of years when Jason Kelsey's kids get older, maybe he becomes a color analyst. I mean he's living off of the podcast and everything else. He would be, I think he'd be a great color analyst. I just think that with that, um, he was basically, letting the other two talk and he'd be part of conversation there. But I think over time, maybe he becomes a color analyst, but he'll do what he does with ESPN and, you know, eventually do what he has to do. Cause let him enjoy his retired life. Well, retired because he's doing other things now. Let him enjoy the family time and everything else. He's got three young kids, and can go from there. So, but yeah. So check those articles, check those stories there. Everything on BleacherBrothers.com. You never know, but if it's the rebet feature, let me know. I get credit for that if you sign up. But as always, bet within your means, 1-800 Gambler, all that stuff. Forgive me. Matt, how's it going, man? Welcome in. We got through most of the stuff here done. We're just chilling, watching the end of the Eagles game here. Eagles up 18-15 after uh, the brotherly shove, tush push, tush shove, not tushy. That's a totally different thing that you can find on Pornhub. Uh, and Maddie says, "Let's go." But 1-800 call Q. You need a couple more letters on there, but that's okay. But or Urban Dictionary. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Yeah, so so we're just chilling here with the rest of the game here, and I probably will have some editing to do with the audio podcast, which are back. And just to let you guys know, you do have to resubscribe as the Joe Quill Show, um, especially if you're on not Yahoo, Jesus Christ, Apple Podcasts, because I just decided to create a second podcast within my account on Spreaker. So, let's say you have a long drive and you think that I'm not going to put you to sleep. It's a great thing to do. I mean, today I've been catching up on podcasts. I was listening to Preston and Steve today. I was listening to an old Dan Patrick show. You know, it's great when you're doing things around the house. You can get things done and do other things like that. Um, and Maddie is a Packers fan. Congrats on your Eagles in Brazil against my Packers, but one hell of a mess. Yeah, I mean that field was horrible, and it's um, and there's a deep pass that's incomplete there. Yeah, the one thing is when you play in these soccer stadiums, if they don't have a way of doing switching it to a turf field, I think one of the stadiums in England does can switch over. So I think it's Twickenham. I think Twickenham is the one where they can switch the uh, take the field underground, put it under ultraviolet light to get the grass growing. Um, uh, and I think Maddie's agreeing me it is Twickenham. But one of those stadiums in the UK where the NFL plays at, I don't think it's Wembley because they use natural grass. They just put it into the underground, they pull the turf in and let it go. Like for example, um, Man City, yeah, yeah. So I know there is a stadium that is like that. Um, but like for example, um, the one thing I will tell you guys is like I was mentioning UNLV possibly going to the Pac-12. Just my hunch, and I have zero intel. Um, I mean, it would make sense for like for example basketball because the Pac-12 tournament had been in Vegas for the last 5-10 years, but um, um, the new stadium there, Legion Stadium, UNLV plays there, but the Raiders play on grass, and the setup is just like State Farm Field, the Arizona Cardinal Stadium, where you drag the turf, the grass field out into the sun so it can grow and all that. But what they do with UNLV, they must have a second plate where you bring in the artificial field, and that goes into place. Which, if now I wasn't in Vegas at the time, and I probably, I doubt I would have gone to um, the Monday night, the media event that they have on Monday nights now. Um, they do have they had the field laid down, but it was the turf field. And if you remember, and how can me and Mike forget sitting here watching Super Bowl 57, where the Eagles should have won that game, and we should have had another parade. Um, I just think, that field was so bad. Everybody was slipping and sliding all over the place. Oh, and Avante Maddox got hurt again. There's a shocker. He's been hurt every year he's been on the Eagles. But that field was just mismanaged from the start in Arizona. But even though they were never going to use that, let's say there was a failure on the turf. At least with Vegas, at least with the way they had the field set up in Vegas, you if the grass failed, you still have an option with that artificial turf. But that's just me knowing UNLV football, not because I love Vegas so much, but it's because um, stopped. First down the other way, baby. What's the flag here? And that's a big pickup for the Eagles, getting CJ GJ back there. Um, well, he um, no, he did take his helmet off. It was an after the play penalty if it was a penalty, so the play would have stood no matter what. But he did take his helmet off, but it wasn't unstrapping it and then going like that. Like if you remember, the reason why the rule is in play, it's because Brett Favre, when he won his Super Bowl, um, Emmett Smith, they would take their helmet off and make sure their face was shown. So that's the reason why that rule is in play. And but he took it. His hand was in the back of his head, and it went off. So it wasn't. I don't think it was an intentional taking the helmet off. But I mean, even with a 15-yard penalty like that, it's not that big of a deal to me. Um, but I do have a wager in play here. Um, Let me log back in here to DraftKings. I think it was on DraftKings. Um, oh, it's not on DraftKings. Where was it? Um, and this is why I might have to do some additional work for you guys. I might have to do additional work on the audio side. That's going to knock me out here. Ah, shit. Um, and Mike, we'll have to talk shop because um, there are some additional things that I can show you. All right. Well, guess what? I'm going to have to knock myself out there. So let me go back into FanDuel. Actually, I don't even need to do that. Hold on. Duh. And I do apologize because I know this is great podcast. No, I didn't want that, you dumbass. No, I do want that. Well, it didn't sign me out. Sign me out. Um. Okay, it is on DraftKings. Why couldn't I find it originally? Um, I have Jalen Hurts with a 50% boost for two scoring over a touchdown and a half. He has that one. Now, granted, it's only a $10 wager because a lot of times these wagers they do limit you on what you can wager, and because DraftKings is um, one of the top sports books in North America, they're going to try to limit those wagers and cut the losses there, especially when you have such a high, especially when you have such a high boost like 50%. So they limited it to $10. So that plus 600 became plus 900. So, and Penguin AZ is watching on YouTube. Welcome in. And, we got two Eagles fans and we got two Packers fans right now talking football and watching the game here. Eagles are up 18-15 in a game that is reminiscent of the NFC divisional round from 2017 season when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Yeah, I think that's Goddard's first catch of the night. So, don't know if a blackbird or a greenbird. Well, you wanna root for the greenbirds, but it's got to be the midnight green, not the Kelly green shit that the Eagles have. But you do have the Eagles here driving, and guess what? I'm going to be SOL on this because they're just going to go for another first down, make sure they get the timeouts. They're not going to get that touchdown. Not going to see another tush push, and I will lose out, which is not that big of a deal. You have good days, you have bad days, and you always bet within your means. Fast game because there's only 3 minutes left in the game, and it's only 10:50. So, but yeah, but it is a defensive struggle here tonight. 18-15. Um, and the one thing I'll say is I don't understand the hate for Joe Buck. And I get why most people say it's he roots against my team. He just gets excited at the moment. He doesn't get excited because your team gave up a touchdown or when he was doing baseball gave up that big home run. But so you got a first down there at the 18. So you need one more first down, and this game is basically over. Now you got an interesting situation because it looks like he's about a half a yard short. One question I will ask you guys if you want to respond. Do the Eagles go for it and get the tush push for the first down? Or do you go against the analytics and go for the points? The original analytics, the OG analytics. Because you got a situation here where you can go up 6, but if you go for it, and they already did the tush push earlier today, you get the first down, you can have them burn their timeouts. And Penguin AZ agrees with me that you do the tush push. I agree. But in a 3-point game, and Kirk Cousins hasn't been that bad. It's just the Eagles have found a way to stop the Atlanta offense just in time. So, so you are the looking at a possibility of an 18-15 win. And if you had Atlanta +6, +6.5, whatever the line ended up being, congratulations, you're probably going to win. Because I can guarantee you, if Saquon Barkley breaks one here, He's probably going to fall down at the 1 yard line because you don't want to score the touchdown and give him the ball. But the thing is, it would be a two possession game. So, but well, it's 3rd and 1. Okay, so Joe Buck messed up there. Um, well, all that theory and questioning that I had meant nothing because guess what? It's third down, not fourth down. But you got a 3rd and 1 here. And the thing is, with this tush push that they're doing so far this year, I don't think the guys in the backfield are really pushing. It's the offensive line that's been doing most of the pushing, especially tonight. But Atlanta does have all three of their timeouts here, so Joe Buck beat me to it there because I was about to say he just did that on purpose. Come on, Nick, stop being an asshole. All right, does anybody agree with Nick Sirianni's decision there? Does anybody agree with that decision of declining it, other than the fact that you get the clock to run? I mean, it's just you know, I mean, with the Pennsylvania Derby this weekend, and I might have to leave Parks early just so I don't get kicked out. But you know, is Nick is Nick Sirianni the equivalent, the football equivalent of Charlie Manuel, except it's more of arrogance than it is just being a redneck like Charlie Manuel is? Because if it wasn't for Charlie Manuel, and Barkley gets about 3 or 4 there, Atlanta will burn their second time out. But the way I feel, Charlie Manuel cost the Phillies a chance to win 4 World Series in a row. Plain and simple. You know, the team won to spite him in 2008, in my opinion. Then you go to 2009. He puts on that extreme shift on Mark Teixeira. Johnny Damon gets a double steal after the Phillies got momentum back in the bottom of the 8th inning with a home run to tie the game. And then the bottom falls out. Now, granted, you had Brad Lidge in the game. Brad Lidge was shit all year. And I still say with Brad Lidge, he was playing with a fucked up knee because if you remember from the 2008 World Series, Ryan Howard would have had a 15-yard penalty for going for the knees. But that's just me. But you do have, but Nick Sirianni, some of the moves that he's made are eerily similar to Charlie Manuel, and I think I said it to Mike when we were at a Sunday night game that went to like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had to be in work at 7 the next morning, 7 or 8. I told him, I said, listen, He's making these dumbass moves and they're working out for him. Nick Sirianni did two of them. One worked, one didn't. But, these moves are, I mean, it's like Dan Campbell last year. You know, he only knows one way to play, and it's play by the analytics and, going for it on fourth down. Well, guess what? Sometimes you just have to realize, hey, you got to do the logical thing and not what analytics tells you. Sometimes you got to go with the gut as opposed to what the what your numbers are saying. Some teams like the Tampa Bay Rays, they can counteract having a low payroll with the fact that you have analytics involved. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But neither guy had a great game, but Kirk Cousins didn't have the eye-popping stats, the great game, but he did enough to get the team to win here. And I mean, this wasn't his typical I can't do shit if a game's not at 1 o'clock Eastern time. He had a good game here. I mean, he did what he had to do. He played within the game plan. It was just that the Eagles found a way to stop the Atlanta offense in their bend but don't break defense. Plain and simple. But you got a 2nd and 6 here. Barkley gets to the 10 there, so it'll be a 3rd and 3. Next week, 2 Monday night games. And if Jacksonville starts off 0-3 here, because Buffalo, to me, is a bit of a surprise because, they did lose Stephon Diggs. They did trade a round pick to Kansas City, which was a dumb move. But, with Buffalo may be the surprise of the league at 2-0 right now. Well, New Orleans is the surprise of the NFC, not because they're 2-0, but all the points they've scored. But, one thing I will say is if Jacksonville loses to Buffalo and goes to 0-3, could Dougie P be be on the hot seat in Jacksonville? Little point to ponder there. You know, but this Sunday you have the Eagles playing in New Orleans, which would be a great matchup. Hopefully, we don't have to listen to Tom Brady. Um, from what I understood, his game again, the Dallas New Orleans game was a little bit better. I think he did the Dallas game right. His second game was better than his first game. But I was watching Red Zone and watching the Phillies and doing 18 million things. So I didn't have one thing. I wasn't having it didn't have the TV on to one game because when the Eagles are on, it's just Red Zone for me. So you got a 3rd and 3 here at the 10. All right, and I am going to quote a guy from the Dan Patrick Show. And, if you're familiar with Shea and Irving, when he gets pissed, run the damn ball. Because if you run the ball here and you don't get the first down, that minute 42 is about 58 seconds. So it's 21-15 here with a minute 39 left. But but just get the quick interception and end this game. That's all you got to do. Get a quick interception, game over, drive home safely. So they got to go 70 yards here in a minute 39 with no timeout. So, and like Mike said earlier, it's just like the 2017 divisional playoff game with the Eagles and the Falcons, because the Falcons will probably drive the field a little bit, and then he'll play the role of Matt Ryan and throw the ball away at the end of the game. Kyle Pitts, local kid from Archbishop Wood High School, ball at the 40. And they're playing prevent defense here. Jesus Christ. All prevent defense does is prevent you to win. Got that right. We need Monday night or Sunday night or 4:25 p.m. Kirk Cousins. But the Eagles have been bend don't break all night, so maybe they'll. I'm surprised they didn't try to pull Vontae Maddox from the game because he came up like he was concussed. Run the damn ball. But you see what happens when now that'll be interesting with the new kickoff returns, how they do that because okay, so they do it on here. Of course he gets it. But now you got a 22-21 game here with 34 seconds left. So hopefully we'll see. Mm-hmm. And he's saying what I'm saying. He didn't go for that field goal early on. Now the new rules are coming into play here with the kickoffs because guess what? Eagles get the ball at the 30-yard line. They only need to go 30 yards because Jake Elliott can kick it from the 50, which would be a 60-yard attempt. So don't need to go too far down the field. So we'll see here. First and 10 at the 30. And then one timeout on the previous drive is what's going to kill the Eagles as well. And Jake Elliott does have a knack for the dramatic. He kicked a 59-yard field goal last year in the rain against Buffalo here. So first down at the 43. And with that, the Falcons are going to win 22-21. Um, and Atlanta wins it 22-21. So, all right. So that's going to do it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. Um, I'll let you know what time because I do have something I do tomorrow night as well. Um, so you know, all right. So that's it for now. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Penguin AZ over on YouTube. Thank you, those watching on X. We'll be back tomorrow night, and I'll have about 22 hours to digest what went on here. And if you're on Twitch, make sure you have your notification set because if you download the app, you can get the alerts that I go live. So that is it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you tomorrow night for another Joe Quills show. So have a great night, everybody. See you then.